Okay, so I think we're all right. We're streaming, it looks like. Welcome back, everybody, for episode 2 of the Freemason podcast. This one hopefully will have audio. Last one I did an hour yesterday and no audio, but that's why we do the first one first. Yesterday was actually a lot of fun. I covered a lot of things, covered what I want to do on the podcast, kind of who I am, what I'm about, and it all went to shit because there's no audio. So I don't want to do that again. So I guess we'll learn about each other as we go on. But let's jump right into this. Obviously, right after I ended the podcast yesterday, my mom sent me a text message. Hey, did you see about Trump? She said Trump got shot, and I was just like, what in the world? So, of course, I jumped into the news here. Let's pull up the AP story. I had mentioned yesterday that a little bit about me. I studied journalism, and I've never used my journalism degree, so I'm no expert or anything. But one thing I do like to do is take a look at the news from hopefully the most unbiased perspective that we can. Obviously, I lean toward the right on most things these days, which is insane to me because I can't believe I've been pushed to that position. But here we are. Anyway, one of the things I want to do with this podcast is, take a look at things objectively. And I also don't really have any subscriptions to the New York Times or anything like that. Not that that would be objective at all, but so I've been going to AP News as of right now because it's free, and in journalism school I was taught, that the AP is, a pretty highly regarded source. Now, again, after 2020, not so sure I believe that, but anyway, it's free. So let's take a look. Let me see. Here it is right here. Okay, there we go. All right, so yesterday it was interesting. I was looking at Kamala and Trump on the campaign trail, I believe, in Pennsylvania at the same time. That was the big story yesterday. And now, of course, everything's completely changed here. We got a suspect ID'd in the Trump assassination attempt. Trump calls for unity. Imagine that. The most divisive, hated man who had an assassination attempt on his life calling for unity. I mean, it's like every time the left's narrative just crumbles. And going back to yesterday, I'm not stumping for Trump or anything. That's not even like, I don't know the guy personally or anything. All I know is what I see, what I hear, and by all accounts, everything that I see coming from the left is complete bullshit around Trump. So let's take a look at this article here. So this image right here, we're going to get into this in a minute, but this image right here, it's like you couldn't have planned a better image. Like I don't even, it's hard to even believe that this whole thing is real. It feels like some kind of AI generated video and imagery here because the whole thing is insane. But we're going to get to that in a minute. I'm just curious about what they've got about the suspected shooter. Said it killed this who attacked from an elevated position outside the rally venue. House Speaker Mike Johnson makes appeal for civility. Wow. It's about time you had to wait for somebody to try to kill him to appeal for civility, huh? We can have a vigorous debate, but it needs to end there. Isn't that interesting? I wonder if we could find something from Mike Johnson saying something different than that. I don't know. Don't know much about the guy. There's this guy. He's got his piece right here. It's a Glock, looks like. Political leanings. Records show 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks was registered as a Republican voter in Pennsylvania, but federal campaign finance reports also showed he gave $15 to Progressive Political Action Committee on January 20th, the day President Joe Biden was sworn into office. Gave $15. Wow. Authorities told reporters Crooks wasn't carrying ID, so they were using DNA and other methods to confirm his identity. DNA? They can't use fingerprints? Or, I mean, I guess if you haven't been arrested, maybe not. DNA? How do they do that so quickly? That's weird. Believe gun used in Trump's assassination attempt bought by suspect's father. Let's see if I can zoom in on this for you guys. No, that just looks weird. But maybe that's a little better. Two law enforcement officials tell Associated Press believe weapon was bought by the father of Thomas Matthew Crooks, who's been identified as the shooter, at least 6 months ago. Well, what was it? Still working to understand. Is it I'm assuming a rifle. I mean, I don't know. Official not authorized to publicly discuss details. Okay. Trump's in great spirits, doing well. Okay, great. So, sounds like not a ton of new information, except that this piece right here is kind of interesting to me. So, you're registered as a Republican, and then you give a $15 donation to a Progressive Political Action Committee on the day President Joe Biden is sworn into office. Now, a couple things come to mind. First thing, maybe he was registered as a Republican prior to 2020 and became radicalized and became a leftist because he had some kind of a disgust reaction around COVID. You know, a lot of people were pushed to the left during COVID because they wanted to wear masks. They wanted that shit. Me, it was exact opposite. I was registered as a Democrat before 2020, and it just still, like I said, blows my mind that through all of that, I came out the other side realizing that the Democrats seem to be much bigger liars than the Republicans. Not to say that either one's, something I want to be a part of either one of those groups, but very strange. But anyway, so possible that the guy was just still registered as a Republican and never changed it, although over 4 years you would think he would have changed that. I certainly did. It's like, I'm not fucking being registered with these people anymore. Before 2016, I was registered as an independent. Then in 2016, I went and tried to vote for Bernie in the primaries. I think that was 2016. Maybe it was 2012. Maybe that was 2012. No, I think it was 2016. Because basically, look, I'm not a Bernie bro or anything, but I did not like Hillary. I just don't like her personality. I kind of understand how people who are just like viscerally cannot stand Trump, and like, I get it. I feel that way about Hillary. Just seems like a just terrible personality of and a horrible person. Like, so I get it, but I just wanted to go and vote for Bernie because I thought it'd be a lot funner to watch Trump and Bernie go head to head than him and Hillary. I think I was probably right on that. However, I get down to the polling place and realize, I can't vote in the primary unless I'm registered. So then I registered as a Democrat. So in the future, I'd be able to do that. Well, anyway, flash forward, now I'm registered as a Republican. So if I can vote in the primaries there. I think the other thing is maybe he was registered as a Republican to throw off primaries, potentially. He could have been one of these people. He's obviously crazy about Trump for some reason or another, and maybe he wanted to register as a Republican so he could vote for somebody besides Trump in the primaries and potentially get him off of the ticket. You know, stranger things have happened. But $15, dude? Like, weird. Okay. So let's go over and see. Let's see if we can, actually, let's kill this for a minute. Let's see if we can find the actual video. Anytime something like this happens, it's like a day later, the actual video's gone, and it's a bitch to find it because all the news outlets are carrying it, and then they want to give you their anchors and their story and everything. But let's see, Trump. Assassination attempt. Full video. By the way, if you hear me, I'm kind of nasally here. I apologize. It's early in the morning here. I just wanted to jump back on and get back into this while I still have some time here. My kids are out of the house, so It's the only time I get to do this thing. ABC News, no thanks. Here we go. Detailed, no. I wonder if you guys can hear that too. And I apologize, I haven't figured out quite how to route the audio from my window captures yet. So like there's a beta thing in OBS Studio, but if anybody has information on that, leave a comment. Also, by the way, if anybody happens to watch this, which I doubt is going to happen, I'm still on 0 viewers here. 0 viewers, 0 views. That's our goal here to maintain. But if somebody does happen to come on here, let me know how the audio is feeling. Let me know how the lighting looks and all that. We're just getting started with this thing, and I want to take your feedback and improve it. It's a humble beginning, as you can see. I'm in kind of a small space. We'll get a nice background going eventually, but for now, let me know how it's going, how you can, anything you can't hear or anything that sounds weird on your end. So hang on, I'm trying to find this video, eyewitness video. All right, this one should do, maybe. Let's try this. Okay. Okay. Another shot right there and a scream. That must have been when they killed him. That must have been when they killed the shooter. That second shot and that scream had to have been... might have been one of these guys here in the commando uniforms there. Because it seemed to come from off screen over where those guys were at. Seemed like... So, there's so many things about this video. I was telling my wife this morning, let me get my shoes on, he said. He said, let me get my shoes on 2 times. He said, wait. And he went for a photo op. He said, wait, and went for a photo op, dude. So I'm pretty sure now I heard that I think they confirmed that the guy was dead, which is why there's all... Because the first time you're watching it, you're like, why are they not rushing him the fuck out of there? And why is he taking the moment to do a fist pump? Which I mean, I think is fucking legendary and epic and awesome. But, you know, looking at it now, it seems like they probably knew that it was like... but fairly safe. Man, hopefully that vehicle is bomb and bulletproof. Imagine it is. Hell yeah. Crazy, man. Okay, so anyway, I was telling my wife this morning, this thing is going to get studied like the Zapruder film from JFK. I mean, this thing, and already last night I was seeing reports, videos and stuff coming out of people breaking this thing down, talking about the smallest little nuances, little footage from, I think there was footage from Getty that had what they said was the shooter. It looked like he was like, maybe he was laying down somewhere dead. I couldn't even see a person in it. I'm like, I don't even know what you guys are pointing to, but it was late last night. I was kind of up watching some stuff. But so my first reaction, the very first time I watched this was, is this shit real? And I mean, since 2020, I guess we've gotten pretty used to reacting to things like that. Like, is this even real? But I really did have that reaction the first time I watched this. Like, is this AI? Is this some kind of psyops thing? Because, and like, let's break it down here. It's everything about it seems really strange. Although, simple explanation, right, is Occam's razor is that life is fucking strange, and when things happen like this in reality, they play out a lot differently than they do in a movie. So maybe it just seems strange, but let's take a look at it and break it down of what I found to be really, really strange about this. Okay. So now I think I need to change where I can get you guys to see my mouse on the window capture here. Let me see if I can do it real quick. There it is, capture cursor. Boom, baby. Okay. Oh, now it fucked it up. Damn it. Okay, there we go. Can we see it? Can you guys see me now? There we are. Okay, so, all right. So, okay. So this guy right here. This guy, we're going to call him fisherman hat. Okay. Little weird with the fisherman hat. And then we got this guy over here who looks like a fucking total liberal dude. Like, we'll call that liberal hat. I mean, and this guy, he couldn't look more like a liberal. It's very strange. Like, doesn't really look like a Trumper, doesn't. But both of these guys do not fit into this scenario here, right? You got everyone else is just pretty similar. I'm assuming they give them these hats and T-shirts, so they're all wearing the red and the. But these two guys right here look really suspicious, and they're gonna come out here in a minute. Here, as I'm gonna tell you why. So, okay, Trump's talking, then the shot happens. Seems like there's maybe two shots. It seemed like maybe the first one missed, second one hit his ear or something. Boom, 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 boom. Now that was probably shot and recoil. Is it fucking recoil? Is that the word when the sound comes back to you? No, because recoil is, I don't know. But anyway, shot and echo. Yeah, I guess it is recoil. Yeah, so it seemed like probably the second one maybe or third one is where he got hit in the ear. Okay, then he goes down. Okay, right. So shot. I don't know. It must have been 5 or 6 then by the time he went down. Which, by the way, terrible fucking shot. Terrible. Okay, so he's down. So that right there, that scream is somebody taking out the shooter. It's got to be. And these people are all looking maybe kind of over this way. Okay, but first thing that come to my mind here is look at this scene. Look at this. Now, there's a wider shot of it somewhere, and it's like this is the entire rally, these bleachers back here, and then in front of him is a very contained area as well. It's like a rectangle almost, whereas in most of the time when I've seen these rallies, it's much bigger, and in a much bigger area and sort of in a round or, in some kind of a stadium or something setting. Now, this is in Pennsylvania, so maybe they anticipated that there wouldn't be as big of a crowd drawn, and so they wanted to kind of like keep it kind of contained in an area so that it could look good on film and everything, and maybe that's what's going on here. But that's my first thing of like, this whole scene here looks really weird. Like, the people in the background seem kind of staged, which, again, it's a stage. Of course it's staged, but look at this guy with the brick jacket right here. What the fuck is going on with this guy in a brick jacket? But yeah, just it just kind of looked weird, right? And then Trump's reaction the first time I saw it, where shot, second shot, and then grabs the ear. If it truly was a bullet hitting or a shrapnel, and you've already heard like a shot or two, and again, I mean, I know that these things happen so quick, but you'd think that you would just like fall down, like, or you would either start running or fall down, or I know I would hit the fucking deck if I heard something that sounds like a gunshot, and then I feel any kind of sensation on my body. I'm hitting the fucking deck. I'm going to make myself the smallest target as possible. But Trump kind of like goes down pretty casually considering someone who just got shot. Potentially got shot, I should say. Watch this. So there he is. Boom. Like, so there's a shot there. So right there, when those people turn their head, I think that's going to be the first shot. And they're like, oh, what is it, fireworks? You know, now he's feeling it. He got hit. He feels his ear, and then he just kind of like goes down, right? I mean, it does happen pretty quick, I guess, but it seemed a little weird to me. You know what I mean? Like in real time, it almost seems slower motion than it is in slow motion. But you know, again, that's how those things are sometimes. If you've ever been in like a bad car crash, it's like slow motion, yet happens so fast you can't even understand how you're reacting. Your body just goes, you go out of body almost. Okay, so all right, so. Second thing that came to me about this that seems really strange is that no one's trying to get out of these bleachers at all. Nobody's even attempting to get out of these bleachers. Looks like some of these people might be trying to walk out. Nobody's hitting the deck. I mean, I understand maybe you're kind of stuck, but it's like you got gunshots. You got the president going down. You don't know what's going on. There could be a bomb. God knows what's coming after that, right? So, just seems like a strange reaction, right? And it's like, what are these people thinking back here? Okay, now here's our friend in the fishing hat here. So another shot. He's just looking around. Look at him scanning. Just scanning. And then look at liberal hat guy. Liberal hat guy's literally just standing there like chilling. They both look really strange. This guy's got himself there just asking to get shot. So they said we're clear. Let's move. We're clear. That means they must have, been pretty reasonably. Let me get my shoes on. Like his shoes fell off. Shit knocked his socks off. And Trump, wait, never missing an opportunity for a fucking photo op, dude. That branding. If you got to admit, dude, he gets it. What would have happened if this happened to Biden? They would have been carrying him out on it. They would have carried him out on a stretcher, dude. There wouldn't have been nothing, no sign of this is like a defiant I mean, now he's martyr status, man. And the left just doesn't understand. The more they try to take him out, the more votes he gets. They just don't get it. Incredible. So my wife brought up a really interesting point. Why don't they have shields? Why don't they have fucking bulletproof shields? Why are we still, with all the technology we have, I was saying, why don't we have some kind of technology where just a bubble shield just comes up around the president as soon as that happens? You'd think we'd have that kind of fucking technology, right? I mean, but the fact that we're still doing a human shield with these Secret Service people, it seems weird, right? Like why wouldn't one of these dudes right here, these commando dudes, why wouldn't they run out with some kind of a bulletproof plexiglass or something in front of him and stand there in front of all the Secret Service guys? Brings up another question to me, is that do the Secret Service guys have bulletproof vest that wraps around the back, or is it, because I think a lot of the bulletproof is just in the front, if I'm not mistaken. But if I was going to be somebody who potentially needs to be a human shield, I think I would want one that wraps around the back if I'm going to be standing there with my back to the shooter, as these gentlemen and the lady were. Yeah, I'm gonna need some fucking bulletproof shit on my back. Maybe they have it. I mean, they look pretty trim though in their suits. I don't know. They probably have some kind of technology on under there. Another thing that was weird: the female Secret Service officers Not even seeing them here now. Maybe it's when they get up here. Yeah. So we got this one over here. And then there's one that comes right here. Her. She's got a piece there, some kind of. So you can see that her stature. Look at Willy Wonka back here again, dude. This guy blows my mind, dude. He's filming. Everyone's filming now. They're not even worried about getting shot or anything. I get, and I guess none of them have kids or anything. But good God, I mean, if I was there, I would have my wife on the fucking deck, dude. I'd be on top of her like these Secret Service people, like, and God forbid if my kids were there, that I'd be out of that shit so fucking quick. I'd be jumping over these people with my kids fucking in my arms. But anyway, the stature of these women is so small that she's not really helping create a shield, right? And matter of fact, his head's exposed because she is so small. See that? This guy has to come and put his arm up there. Good on him. I mean, they exposed him a lot. He was exposed a lot there. Hopefully they're going to go and look. I mean, and he kind of asked them to do this. I would have been like, no, sir. No, you're not doing that. No. You're not fucking exposing your head here. But man, he knew. And then you can see down here, here's the guys getting the money shot up toward the sky. So you remove all the background and they get that cool money shot and there's a flag somewhere. So the flag in the shots, is it one of these flags? There's like an American flag in that shot. I don't even see where that's at. So it would be from here shooting up into the sky, and there's like this American flag draped. Let's see if we can find that image here. Like right here. See that American flag there? Oh no, see this one, he's still at the podium almost. Okay, so he's kind of still at the podium in that money shot. I'm just not sure that I see where. So he's in that money shot. He's actually, yeah, he's still here. Right? Yep, right here. Fist up. So it must have, and there's that woman. So it's right when he first says, no, wait. It's going to be right here. Because they still have this sign in front of them. Back and to the left. Back and to the left. So right here. Boom. Right there. That's going to be the money shot. And then there's this flag flying overhead. I swear they fucking oops. I swear they like cropped that in or something. Trump assassination photo. Let's see what we got here. See there it is. Right here. This one right here. Fuck me. Let's see if we can open this. Okay, so there it is right there. This flag right here. Where is this flag from? Here's a teleprompter. This looks like maybe a boom mic. Okay, and no, at this point they're not by the podium anymore. So I might be right I might have been right that. So at that point they're kind of more over here, right? And it could be these photographers down here. And these guys are like shooting, pray and spray, dude, just fucking shooting. Like, dude, this shit is gonna be so fucking. He has his fist in the air, so, right? Yeah, so it'd have to be there. Yep, that's it right there. Yep, it's got to be that moment right there. Yeah, there's that guy over there. Okay, so it's got to be right there. So there's a flag in that moment somehow over top of him, and maybe we're just not even seeing it. See, I don't see it anywhere here. I don't see it anywhere. I mean, unless it's literally way up overhead somewhere, which may be the case. It looks like there's some kind of wire attached to it, but that flag feels like it was cropped in or something to me, which would be very strange and would support my theory of like, which is, I mean, it's just a theory though, but it's like something ain't right about this whole video, man. The blood doesn't look right. Like when you look at, like, that looks a little weird for blood there. Like it's kind of strange, right? And I was saying like whenever he put up to his ear, he could have had a packet and done something with it. I'm not saying that that's the case, but I'm just saying it's like there's a lot of weird stuff going on here between fisherman hat, liberal man. You got brick jacket guy. This is really getting to be very, very reminiscent of January 6th, where you kind of start going like, what of this is real? What of this is staged? Who in this crowd were actors? Who in the crowd were provocateurs? Who were there to try to potentially assist in the assassination attempt? Who were there? This guy with the hat. And there's a better angle of this video. I don't know why it's just so dark. Whenever I'm not playing it, it's ridiculous. All right, where the fuck did hat guy go? Oh yeah, see, we're not at the same angle here, but there's another angle where you can see him a lot better. Yeah, so this guy here. Yeah, it's more like earlier on where there he is scanning. Look at him scanning. He's looking around. Look at him. Maybe that dude is some kind of undercover for the Secret Service. I don't know. Maybe he's some kind of CIA undercover. Who knows? But all things considered, the DEI Secret Service agents, the weird people in the background, the weird stage, this whole weird situation of this tiny little backdrop here, this tiny containment of people, the fact that the crowd behind Trump, who potentially just had bullets shot at them, which is strange that nobody back here seemed to get hit. Now, I know that there's reports of a bystander being killed. I don't see that happening here. I don't see anyone like freaking out that someone next to them just got shot. Maybe I'm missing it, but if the shooter was, potentially somewhere back off this way, like back into the left, back into the left, back into the left. Do a little ASMR here. Back into the left, back into the left. If the shooter's back there somewhere and shooting, I'm guessing down from, they said it was like a rooftop. It's all very very reminiscent of Dallas, right? But then the one that went through his ear, if that was the bullet, I don't know if it was some kind of shrapnel that got kicked up from the bullet hitting something, but between that and the other like 7 or 8 shots, I mean, I'm hearing about what sound like maybe 10 shots. Nobody in that vicinity got hit, so that's weird too. Not that we can immediately see from this footage anyway. And then the sort of reaction from the Secret Service, the way they sort of walked him off. I mean, I feel like I would have been like down there on the ground with him, like, can you crawl, sir? We're gonna crawl off of this fucking stage. Because again, to me it seems very like 101 of make yourself the smallest target as possible when you're being fired at. And one way to do that is get on the ground. Get down on the ground. The fact that they would stand him up to walk out and and they're all kind of like really making themselves like really large targets. And maybe the Secret Service wants to do that. They want to take the bullet. That's their like entire, job, I guess. But Just seemed really strange the way they were kind of putting themselves out there. The whole video seems weird. Again, sometimes life is stranger than fiction, so I guess that's it. Well, I mean, I know over the coming days we're going to see so many things come to light on that video, and like I said, it's going to be studied. It's going to be studied thoroughly, myself included. I'm going to continue to sort of look at that as other pieces come out and maybe other vantage points, other people's footage. The difference here between what happened in Dallas and like you have the Zapruder film and you had just 2 or 3 pieces of footage to compare is that everyone here had their cell phones. We've got endless angles. We're hopefully going to be able to see exactly what happened. But in this day and age, with the AI and the deep fakes, we have no clue what's going on. There's no way to corroborate anymore. There's no way to agree that yes, this is truly what happened. So we'll see how it plays out. It's crazy shit, crazy times. And once again, the left, who always like to pretend that they're the party of acceptance, they're the ones who care about people the most, and they're just out to make it a better country and to defend democracy and everything. They're the ones who get violent every fucking time. Every time. And, it's a shame that January 6th even happened, because they'll always point back to that as proof that they're not the ones who are violent. And we're just going to continue to disagree on that, because I don't see that as a intentionally violent event. I see it as a riot or a protest that turned into a bit of a riot, got out of hand, got violent. Yeah, I'm not denying that, but I still don't see anything that I've seen that gives me proof that there was any malicious intent on what happened that day. And as well as that the way Black Lives Matter was operating from 2020 on, if Trump had won that election, they would have fucking stormed the Capitol as well. They were talking about it all the way up to it. And there was rumors that, if Trump had won, that it was going to get real nasty. Remember that? You guys remember that? From politicians, like basically threatening, if you vote Trump into office, it's going to get even uglier than it's been that whole summer of riots that we had. So, forgive me if I don't still feel like the left are the ones who are encouraging and increasing violence in this country. And this is another thing. Now, again, maybe this guy's not on the left, but he's a registered Republican. He could be somebody that was obsessed with Trump, and Trump said something that pissed him off, and he decided to kill him, right? Like John Lennon, right? Because that guy was Sirhan was obsessed with John Lennon, and he didn't like the Imagine song, I believe, was what the problem was, because he's saying Imagine no religion, and I believe that guy was a devout, Muslim or whatever he was. Decided, even though you're my idol, I got to kill you now because you didn't do what I wanted you to do, which is crazy. Just crazy. So that's politics for today. So during the first podcast, I talked about what this podcast, what I want it to be about. It's everything I'm interested in, which does include politics, but also culture, music, movies, business. I'm a musician. I have been since I was a young child. I'm in the creative industry, and I want to talk about all this stuff and more, and just like weird, fun stuff, 80s shit, 90s shit, weird news, whatever comes up, really. But so I don't want it to be perceived as a political commentary show, but these days, culture is politics, and I just find it strange when people are like, "Oh, I don't want to talk about politics. I don't talk about that." It's like we're way past that, man. We're way past that. I used to be exempt from that too. No, I don't really get into it. I really don't care. I was pretty apathetic, right? Because I grew up in the 90s, and we listened to punk rock, and of course, we wanted to Rage Against the Machine or whatever, but you get older, you realize that you had no idea what the fucking Machine even was. and that you were part of the machine, and so you kind of get to a point, in your like early 30s where you're just like apathetic about it all. It's like, oh, okay, I'm disillusioned now, right? There's a Bob Dylan song that nobody seems to know about but me. It's From My Back Pages, I believe it's called. From My Back Pages. From My Back Pages. It's just called My Back Pages. And it's basically Dylan. I'll just bring this up here. Maybe we can get some lyrics or something. 1964 album, Another Side of Bob Dylan. It's a fucking awesome song. But basically, the hook of it is, I was so much older then, I'm younger than that now. You might recognize that hook, but a lot of people don't know what song it's from, or even what the context of the song is and what he's talking about. But what he's saying is, and I think, and we could say how old was he in 64, but I feel like he was probably around the age I was when that shift happened, where I went from, we got to fight the system, we got to, whatever it was back in the punk rock days, and Bush Jr. is the problem, and there's a war machine and all these things, right? And you're young and you want to be a part of something. You want to be a part of culture. You want to be a part of a friend group or whatever, and, you want to you tend to kind of go along with it, and it seems like a worthy thing to do, to rail against authority, because you're at that age from becoming a teenager on into your early 20s where you realize that authority figures are fucking idiots, and so it's a worthy thing to do. It's a worthy exercise to challenge and authority, right? And that's what we were doing. And so, but you reach an age where that doesn't quite cut it anymore, and you realize that it's all kind of a waste of time, and that it doesn't really change anything when you do that, and it only stokes violence, right? And so you kind of get to a point where, like, well, I don't want to be the purveyor of violence anymore, so I'm just going to focus on my life. I'm going to build a career, build a family, or whatever you want to do, be an artist, whatever. So I think this is Dylan coming. His way is amazingly, poetic and wordsmithy way to convey that in sort of a little bit of a cryptic way, and I think that's why people don't know the song and don't understand it, because it's a little bit cryptic. But if you've listened to it as much as I have, and it's funny that it holds up today better than ever. But it's basically him saying, "Hey, I was so much older when I was a teenager, or when I was in my early 20s, and I believe he's talking about his involvement in the civil rights movement, which he was never comfortable with, being the face of that, and saying that, hey guys, I'm beyond that now. Like, you don't even understand that you're a fucking, remember he's only a pawn in the game. Like, I think that's kind of what he's saying about." The sort of the hippies and the leftists and the Joan Baez's of the time and everything, of like, you are so wrapped up in this, you don't even see that you're just a part of this big game that's happening, that plays over and over and over again in society. So, crimson flames tied through my ears, rolling high in mighty traps, pounced with fire on flaming roads, using ideas as my maps. We'll meet on edges soon, said I, proud neath heated brow. I was so much older then, I'm younger than that now. So first verse is basically, crimson flames tied through my ears. Like, I was angry, I was pissed, and we'll meet on edges soon, said I, proud neath heated brow, right? Like that feeling when you're young of, we're going to fucking take over shit. These people don't know what they're doing. We're going to get it done. But I was so much older then. I'm younger than that now, right? Half-racked prejudice leaped forth, ripped down all hate, I screamed. Lies that life is black and white spoke from my skull, I dreamed. Romantic facts of musketeers, foundation deep somehow. So again, very cryptic, and I'm not going to sit here and bore you by explaining every line of poetry here, but he's basically saying that, we had this idea that we were romanticizing what we were doing, like, we're the musketeers, we're here to challenge the authority and save everything for everybody. But I was so much older then, I'm younger than that now. Like, I'm not part of that anymore. I'm just here now to have fun and to just live life, and that's what I think he means by younger, even though he's older, right? And that sort of contrast that he's given there. Girls' faces form the forward path from phony jealousy to memorizing politics of ancient history, flung down by corpse evangelists unthought of though somehow. So I'm thinking here he's talking about similar to what happens to a lot of men is you got some hot chicks involved in the movement. And I don't know. Maybe that's not it, but that's kind of what I'm getting out of that. And you're, oh, yeah, I want to memorize these politics and everything too, and get into this because it's where the good-looking chicks are at, right? Until you realize what kind of chicks those are. Those good-looking leftist chicks. Oh my God, God bless you all if you're going after one of those, man, because that is not going to work out well. So just I'll skip over the rest of it. I encourage you to listen to the song. Again, I don't think if I play it you'll even hear it, but eventually I do want to do a music commentary on this channel. So hopefully by next time I'll have the audio working from this feed. Let me just... I don't know if you guys heard that, and we'll see if you can hear it. But anyway, just want to get maybe one more line or two in here that I thought were really... Yeah, in a soldier's stance, I aim my hand at the mongrel dogs who teach, like teachers, authority figures, fearing not I'd become my enemy in the instant that I preach. Like not realizing that like as soon as I do this, now I'm trying to be an authority, right? My existence led by confusion boats, mutiny from stern to bow, right? So just a young kid just going from thing to thing, just like these kids are now. Like, you've seen these videos, they go to these protests and they're asking them, what are you here for? They don't even know what the protest is about. And that's what he means by confusion, existence led by confusion boats. Mutiny from stern to bow. I mean, it's just, you're going every which direction. My guard stood hard when abstract threats, too noble to neglect, deceived me into thinking I had something to protect. Good and bad, I define these terms, quite clear, no doubt somehow. But I was so much older then, I'm younger than that now. So good and bad, I define these terms, quite clear, no doubt somehow, but not anymore. And so, I mean, anyway, that to me is a great depiction of that shift from, we need to be involved in this movement, we need to tear down the authority and the institutions that are here and rebuild them, to guys, you can't move things like that. And here we are, post 2020, everyone replaying the same playbook they did back in the 60s with the hippies, and it just doesn't work like that. Society doesn't move like that. It doesn't turn on a dime. It's a really slow moving boat that takes fucking years to turn, and it's a bitch. I get frustrated sometimes with the speed of society and the way I would like it to be and the way I would like it to move, but I think the whole point of his song, and maybe the point that I was originally getting to, which I have no idea where this even rant began, is that we should all be a little younger than that now. I mean, like, we're all idiots here, and myself included. So I'm going to get off here in a few minutes. One thing I wanted to do is I want to do a quick review. So I was mentioning last time that I had a lot of trouble getting this podcast going. For like 6 months, I wanted to get this thing going. And every time I would sit down to try to get this thing going, I would spend about an hour getting the video and audio going, and every time there would be some kind of problem from the last time, and it became where the video was fine. It is what it is. Like I said, I want to get a better backdrop. The lighting is probably fucked up. We'll tweak it as we go, but the video is fine. But the audio, every time a problem with the audio. Every single time. And then I would get it all straightened out, spend an hour, and then I'd be like, well, that's all the time I have, so I'm not going to launch the podcast today, but next time it'll be good to go. And then sure enough, next time I open the computer up and turn the my desktop audio interface on here, and there's a fucking problem. You got to update. You got to, drivers are wrong. Sometimes I would spend an hour and then realize that the shit wasn't plugged in and it was a fucking user error. But that was rare. Most of the time it was on the audio thing. And so I wanted to grab this here because I think I've got it fixed out, or I've got it sorted out. But another thing I want to do on this podcast is review products, because I buy a lot of shit, and I have I buy a lot of equipment, gear, things like that, music gear, camera gear, video gear, and now podcast gear, right? Audio gear. And I go down rabbit holes, man. Like, and I insist on getting like the perfect balance of value and quality. And so sometimes that takes me I got to buy a few things, send them back, buy things, and then sell them and get a different one. And so, maybe it'll help people if you're into this shit too. So I want to grab this real quick. I'm gonna tell you about the fucking journey I went on with this thing. But I want to show it to you here. Okay, so anyone who's into audio, particularly like recording music and music recording software and hardware and everything, knows who Universal Audio is, also known as UA, right? So this right here is the Apollo Twin X, if you can see that. I don't know. There we go. Or let me see if I can get the camera to focus on it there. Is my autofocus working, guys? Do you know? Let's see. There it is. Yep. Okay, so this is the Apollo Twin X. This is just an audio interface device that you connect your microphone and all that stuff to, and it transfers the analog signal from your microphone or whatever instrument it may be into a digital signal that can then be routed into the computer and can be adjusted from there. Right? Okay. Now, in the past, I've used Focusrite since back in the day. I mean, probably the first they have they're called Scarlett, the little desktop audio interfaces they have, and I probably had the first generation one back in the day. Never had too many problems. It's always like a little weird getting this stuff set up and like figuring out how to monitor it through the headphones without getting a delay, and like figuring out how to get the levels right. And I'm sure the levels here probably suck, and we'll get better at that as we go. But it's always kind of a pain, but generally it's like, you can kind of get it figured out. And I've been doing this shit since I was 12 years old. I've been recording music in bands. My brother and I were in bands since I was a little kid. And we've been recording stuff since the days when it was on analog, and it was on tape and 8-track and stuff like that. So and reel to reel in the studio. And so I'm not an audio engineer, but like I'm pretty fucking capable, right? So okay, so my wife and I moved down to Florida here, which, oh yeah, by the way, I'm in Florida and I've been here most of my life, and it's geographically probably not my favorite place to be, but I really feel like I may die here and be buried in the fucking sand here, because Florida is where I always come back, and for whatever reason it feels like home to me. But anyway, my wife and I were up in Boston for a while. We came back down here to Florida, and I left some of my shit up in Boston in a storage shed. That's a whole nother story for another day, but the rate hike that they gave me, and my shit's still sitting up there. But so some of my audio equipment was up there, and then we come down here, and it was going to be temporary. We thought we might go back to Boston. She was working up there, and eventually we decided to just stay here. So I'm like, okay, well, I want to do the podcast. So I'm not going to wait anymore. Let me just get a new audio interface. And I already had the Focusrite Scarlett up there in storage. And so I thought, why don't I try Universal Audio? Because as far as like quality and the build and everything goes, like UA is just, I'm a fan. I mean, I have an external preamp that I bought from them. Just incredible stuff. And Universal Audio as a company has been around for many, many years. I'm going to bring up some stuff here. Let me see if we can find like maybe some of their vintage equipment that they did back in the day, because this shit is, these consoles they used to build, right? I mean, you can just see like how cool they were, you know, like these old school knobs and shit, you know, like and those are those things that like you start to like turn that knob and you feel like, you know, the weight of it and the stickiness of it, you know, and it's just like perfectly smooth, and like as soon as you stop, it like stops, you know, you like feel it kind of like grab, you know, it's just so satisfying to like operate these old kind of consoles where they built everything with real good hardware and everything was analog and everything was mechanical. And the electronics and like a lot of the old UA stuff is like tube compressors in it, and that stuff's heating up, and you see the lights on the mechanical gauges, you know, and the needles going up and down, and there's just something exciting and satisfying about that old school equipment, and even the look of it, that green here, you know, is like, just looks cool, you know. It's like cool and old, almost looks like something the military would have been using back in the day or something, right? And just really cool. And undoubtedly, probably some amazing records have been, you know, created on these things. So UA, anyway, been around for a long time. My understanding from it's been a while since I read their story, is that I think is like the grandfather that started the company, and it's been handed down over generations to the kids and everything, and I think maybe the grandson's running it now. Just a huge fan of Universal Audio equipment and even what they do today, right? You know, now obviously today it's a little different than back then, and so yeah, the stuff looks a little different and everything, but still there's something about like this thing right here, there is something about the quality of it, and even this guy here, there is a bit of a pleasure to using it. However, this knob right here doesn't really give me that tactile feeling, even that the Focusrite gives me. And I would show you the Focusrite I have here, but it's over here next to me, and I'm running audio through it. But the Focusrite Gen 4. Like the knobs on them are really fucking clean, and it's actually pretty satisfying. It's not as sexy looking as UA stuff, but even this more modern UA stuff, I don't find it to be that sexy. You know, it looks a little homogenized to me. You know, a little bit clinical. Whereas Focusrite is just Focusrite, right? If Focusrite is like Ford, you know, it's like, you're not going to turn any heads with it, but this motherfucker's going to be a daily driver. Now these are the old ones. Here's the Gen 4. See how these, it's all kind of janky, the layout of everything, and just looks kind of cheap. But here's the Gen 4. It's very smooth. It's much flatter, sort of surface appearance to the panel. Like, I don't know. I just kind of dig it aesthetically even. I've never liked the red. I never liked the scarlet thing. I wish they just made them in black or chrome or something, but you know, at the same time, they've developed sort of a brand around it, and Scarlet is, you know, and here I am, I'm back, I'm a Scarlet guy again. But point of this whole tirade is that the Apple Twin X, or I should call it the Apple Twin X, because that's what it fucking is. But the Apollo Twin X from Universal Audio gave me nothing but trouble on a Windows machine, on a PC laptop. The Twin X retails around $800. The Focusrite with the same capabilities and damn near the same specs, I should say. I dare to say, because I don't know. I'd have to really look, but for all intents and purposes, you're getting two inputs. You know, you're getting everything you're going to need to do like a little podcast setup, right? It's like $200. So you're talking about 4x cost for the UA. Now, again, I'm the kind of person that's like, I get into something like audio or something. Maybe I'll start with an entry level if I'm just in a hurry to get into it. I don't like doing that because I know the entry level is eventually not going to do it for me. And then I'm just going to have to spend more money, right? I'd more rather get right into that good mid-grade daily driver right at the beginning, but sometimes you need the entry level to even just start to understand what you're doing and what you need and what your needs are, and then you can kind of go up from there, right? Sometimes I'll start at the top and then end up going down, and that's not a good way to do it either, because you're spending a lot of money starting at the top, not knowing whether or not you need all that. So anyway, I felt like I was kind of in the mid-grade my whole life with these Scarletts, since they became sort of the ubiquitous in that digital space. And so I thought, hey, fuck it, I'm down here now. I got my Scarletts up there in Boston. So I got a little extra scratch right now. Why don't I splurge and get something from UA, because I am so impressed with that preamp I got. Let me see if I can find that preamp, because it has the old knobby knobs on it too, which are just fucking badass. UA preamp. It's like a 2-channel. I think it's a 2-channel thing. It's a little no. Is it preamp, let's see, Solo. I think it's called the Solo 2-channel, right? Yep, here it is. Solo 610 Classic preamp. So this is the guy I have. It's got those old school knobs, right? It's tube. It's got a tube in it. So it's got that nice warmth, So this, you're going to plug your microphone in there and get a preamp from it. Now, I don't have that here. That's in Boston too. But anyway, I love that thing, man. Just gives it, you can push it and get a little drive out of it if you want. You can kind of just keep it rolled back and do it that way too, and just get a nice clean tone. But if you really push it, you get that warmth out of that tube. And that's where, if you're doing audio recording for music and stuff, that's where it really starts to kind of get interesting. You can do some creative things there. But anywho, so I thought, well, let me get this Apollo, man, because shit, if it's anything like the other equipment they have, and if looks are anything, then this is going to be what I need for my podcast. So I get it. And I mean, I've spent the last 6 months trying to get that thing fucking working. I mean, when I can even get audio out of it, it was just constantly clipping, even though it didn't sound, I never heard the clipping and the monitoring, always on the other end. I did a podcast with a friend of mine. They're like, dude, your audio is just shit. I'm like, dude, I've spent 6 months trying to get it to even like register anything out of this audio, and I don't know what I'm hearing. It doesn't show that I'm clipping or anything. I don't know what's going on. And, I should have listened to the internet, because for years it's been like, yeah, Apollo's kind of for Apple. It's kind of for Macs. And I realized after using this Apollo that I'll never buy another UA product that is for digital music. I'll buy their analog products, right? They seem to do a really good job at that. But they literally are the Apple of digital music conversion or whatever you want to, or digital sound audio, right? Because this whole thing is proprietary. It's you can't use plugins. I think it's VST plugins. It's been a while since I've even fucked with the plugins, and I'm going to be getting back into it here probably now that I've got my setup here. But I have like tons of plugins. Some of them that I bought, some of them that I've gotten for free over the years, and you can't use them in their interface. You have to use the UAD, or the UA, Universal Audio. There's a D sometimes too. I don't know. I can't remember what that is. But you got to use the UA plugins, and so they want you to go and buy all these plugins from them. And they're claiming that they emulate them off of this great, analog equipment they have access to, the specs and all that. And that's all well and good. But it's like, I've already got plugins, man. I don't need your shit. Give me a way to use VST plugins. It's like a standard of the industry. And why can't I do that? And then why does it act all fucked up on my Windows PC, but seems to work well on a Mac? Well, again, because they're just like Apple. When somebody from an Apple phone sends me an image or a video, the quality is shit. And they just proved, I don't know, not too long ago, there's some kind of lawsuit, some kind of, or not class action, but like a monopoly lawsuit, I think, on Apple right now, that they are intentionally throttling the quality of messages sent from an Apple phone to an Android phone, for instance, because they want those Android users to be like, I'm sick of this shit. I just need to go get an iPhone, right? This thing doesn't work. And that's not honest, right? They're making it look like it doesn't work, right? So, and they're trying to force people into getting an iPhone so they can, message back and forth with their friends. Well, I mean, look, fuck Bill Gates and Windows. I could give a fuck about Windows, but it's like PC, the whole revolution of the personal computer and the internet, and people seem to have completely forgotten all this, is that they really aligned with the sort of First Amendment and the freedoms that we are really passionate about in the United States. It's like, with the advent of the internet, and we didn't know, but here we are, right here. I'm broadcasting now on essentially a television that anybody can access, and I have access to the entire world. We're only I don't know, 30 years on or so of where people really had access to personal computers and could start getting online. I mean, that wasn't even 30 years ago where you really could get online and do things. And of course, dial-up was really slow. And so I mean, we're not that far on from starting this, and anyone can have their own podcast with a little bit of scratch and a little bit of, looking some things up. So anyway, I think that this mentality that UA has with their system that they built is the same as Apple's, and I think that mentality goes against what consumers in the United States should and do want, in my opinion. And me as a consumer, that's what I want. I want to be able to customize shit. I want to be able to use it how I want to use it. I don't want to be locked into some proprietary system. And that's been my experience with UA. And so I guess my review of it is, if you have a Windows of any kind, do not fucking buy this shit. I mean, UA claims that they've solved a lot of those problems, and they have some support and everything, documents and stuff. It's really difficult to get the support. And so after 6 months of that shit, and then my number one podcast, which you probably won't see because I think I'm going to delete it because there's no sound on it. The number one had no sound after all of that. I was getting sound in the monitor, and then I went back to listen to the podcast, and there's nothing. So I said, fuck this thing, dude. I am done with this thing, and I ordered a Focusrite from Amazon. It got here the same day, got here last night, hooked it up today, plug and play. Took me immediately to some startup videos that they made, which are just super straightforward and user-friendly. The control panel on the computer that you use is super straightforward, super simple. Got it hooked into OBS Studio, which I use to stream the podcast very easily. And the sound instantly, it's like, oh, okay. So we're good now. It blows my mind how much trouble I had with UA. And I don't know if they're just sleeping on the PC thing because most of their consumers are on Mac, or if they have some kind of backdoor deal with Apple. I have no idea, man, but they obviously don't give a fuck because it does not work on PC. So trust the reviews, trust the Reddit on that one, because I think there was a lot of people like, dude, if you got a PC, do not get this thing. And I didn't listen. I thought, oh, that's an old comment, and they got to have it figured out by now, and I'm savvy. I've been running audio equipment for a long time. I've recorded in full-fledged recording studios and seen the engineers work. I know how to route audio. I know how to route a signal chain through compressors and limiters and gain and all these things, and EQ. And again, I'm not an expert in any of it, but I know a lot more than the average Joe. And man, just a nightmare. And then I had all these people in my life where I'm going, they're going, when are you going to do the podcast? I'm like, man, I'm having trouble with the audio. And they're like, well, did you try plugging it in, and just all that. I'm just like, dude, trust me, I know what the fuck I'm doing. It's hard to explain. I just can't get it figured out. So anyway, I think that's going to do it for today. Let's go ahead and drop off here. Thanks for watching again. I totally cringe when people say like and subscribe and do all that on all their videos. And it's one thing I promised that, no, I'm sorry, I did not promise that, but I made a couple promises in the first podcast. One was that I'm always going to swear, and I'm still figuring out what YouTube's rules are, and so let me see if a video gets taken down or something. But this is not going to be a family-friendly show. I curse like a sailor. I don't trust anyone who doesn't. And that's how we're going to run the show. This is my show, right? So that's one promise, is that I'll never stop cursing on here. I can't, I literally can't. I couldn't do it if I wanted to. I'm not going to bleep it out. If that doesn't work here, then I don't know. Well, maybe we'll go somewhere else. But one thing that I softly promised was that I'm not going to do the like and subscribe shit, because people know what to do. I feel like you know what to do. I feel like you know that would help me out. Honestly, at this point, if I get 1 view, I'll be pretty stoked. I'll be like pretty damn stoked. So I really don't care if you like or subscribe. Do whatever the hell you want. And really, that's the main thing. Do whatever the hell you want. Fuck everybody else. Fuck it. But thanks for coming. If anybody does see this in retrospect or down the road somewhere, thanks for coming. Thanks for stopping by. And we'll see you on the next one.